What happens when someone who thought you'd always care suddenly realizes you've stopped trying? It's like pulling the ground from under their feet, a shock they didn't see coming. Many people don't understand the wave of emotions this creates. When you step back, whether by choice or because you have to, it triggers powerful feelings. They start questioning everything, their worth, your intentions, and even the relationship itself. When you stop caring, it's not just about what you do, it's about how they react. They'll go through different emotional stages as they try to understand what's happening. These reactions aren't random, they're built into human nature. And here's the important part. How you handle this moment matters just as much as their feelings. When you stop chasing, they start facing. This isn't about playing games or hurting anyone. It's about recognizing your own power. In today's video, we'll break down the 10 emotional stages they go through when you pull back emotionally. But more importantly, we'll talk about how using Stoicism, calmness, self-control, and focusing on what you can actually change can help you handle the situation with strength and purpose. Think of Stoicism like being the calm center in a storm. The waves may crash and the wind may roar, but the deep waters remain steady. That's the mindset we're talking about. Staying calm and in control no matter what happens around you. This isn't just about them, it's about you. It's about becoming someone who earns respect, not by being loud or pushy, but by being quietly strong. It's the kind of strength that makes people notice you differently and think twice about how they treat you. When you pull back, you make them look at themselves. They start to realize what your presence meant and feel the space you left behind. That's when emotions like regret, confusion, and even longing can hit them. Sometimes the strongest move is to do nothing at all. Here's the exciting part. What you gain from this is more important than what they feel. By the end of this video, I'll share one simple but powerful step you can take to not only handle their emotional stages, but also grow into someone stronger, wiser, and more confident. You don't want to miss this. It's the key to becoming the best version of yourself. If you're finding this helpful so far, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and press the bell icon so you never miss out on valuable insights like this. And in the comments below, I want you to affirm your strength and focus by writing, "I am the master of my art." Let this be your reminder that you're in control of your actions and emotions. Also, tell me, what do you think is the hardest stage someone faces when you stop caring? Share your thoughts, and let's support each other in becoming stronger and more confident every day. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand the stages they go through, but also walk away feeling more powerful and clear about how to handle your relationships. Let's dive in. 1. The quiet storm silence. It's a strange and powerful thing when you stop caring, when your energy and attention are no longer theirs to freely enjoy. The shift can feel like an earthquake to their reality. At first, they might not know what to do with the emptiness left behind. Your silence isn't just the absence of words or actions. It's a void that forces them to stop, think, and feel. Why the sudden change? Why did the constant attention, the care they once received effortlessly, just vanish? These questions echo in the silence, loud and unavoidable. It's in that space where your presence used to be that they begin to realize something profound. What was once taken for granted is no longer theirs to hold. As a Stoic, your choice to step back is not about punishment or games. It's a deliberate, thoughtful act. It's rooted in self-awareness and the understanding that your energy has value. You're not retreating out of anger, frustration, or spite. You're creating space for yourself to grow and reflect, and in doing so, giving them a chance to realize what they may have overlooked. Imagine your presence as the sun in their world, always shining, always reliable, until one day the warmth fades. Suddenly, they're left in the cold, wondering why they never appreciated the light while it was there. That's the essence of your silence, a quiet storm that shakes them from their complacency and compels them to face a new reality. Sometimes it's not what you say that gets noticed, but what you choose not to say. By pulling back, you're not playing a role, you're reclaiming your energy. Think of it like tending to a fire. If you keep throwing logs on without tending the flames, the fire eventually dies down. Your silence is the log you withhold, not to extinguish the fire, but to give it space to burn on its own. What's happening in their mind during this time? At first, they may brush it off, assuming it's temporary. They might think, maybe they're just busy. But as the days go on, the silence becomes deafening. It's no longer just your absence. It's the questions that come with it. Did I misjudge their value? Did I take them for granted? Why does their absence feel so heavy? The truth is, your choice to step back isn't about manipulating their emotions. It's about standing firm in your worth. You're not clinging, chasing, or over-investing. You're showing that you respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that feels unbalanced. That kind of confidence, it's rare and it's magnetic. Absence sharpens love. Presence strengthens it. In your silence, they begin to feel your presence more profoundly than ever. They notice the little things they ignored, the way you made them feel, the effort you put in, the care you showed. What they once overlooked now feels like a void they can't fill on their own. You're not just disappearing, you're deliberately shifting your focus inward. This is your time to grow, to rediscover your passions, and to invest in the things that make you better. It's not about ignoring them, it's about prioritizing yourself. Ironically, this is when they often realize just how much you mattered all along. And here's the beauty of it. This isn't just transformative for them, it's empowering for you. In stepping back, you remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to how much you give or how much you're needed. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and radiant. When you hold it firmly, it shines brighter than ever. When you stop watering weeds, the garden of your life blooms. This silence, this intentional space, isn't a loss. It's a gain. It's the sound of your confidence, your growth, and your unyielding self-respect. And as they wrestle with the silence, you thrive in its stillness. That's the quiet storm, a storm that transforms both you and them in ways words never could. 2. Telling themselves, it's nothing. They're probably just busy. Maybe I'm overthinking this. These are the comforting lies they tell themselves when your care begins to fade. It's easier to brush off the change than to confront the unsettling possibility that your attention is no longer guaranteed. Denial becomes their shield, a way to avoid the discomfort of your silence. In this phase, they'll replay conversations, searching for clues in your words and actions. They'll look for signs that everything is still fine. But deep down, they know something has shifted. It's not what you say, but what you don't say that echoes the loudest. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Your silence speaks a language they're not used to hearing. You've stopped explaining, stopped chasing, stopped compensating. Instead of filling the void, you let it exist. And in that void, they're forced to sit with their own thoughts and feelings. It's not about playing games or trying to manipulate. It's about stepping back and letting the natural balance of the relationship take its course. Imagine a pendulum that's been pushed too hard. It swings wildly, out of rhythm, until the pushing stops. Only then does it find its natural balance. Your silence is that moment when the pushing stops. It's a pause, a reset, a chance for both of you to see what remains when the noise is gone. At first, they might feel confused, even unsettled. They might dismiss your quiet confidence as temporary, assuming it's a phase. But as the days pass, the absence of your effort becomes impossible to ignore. They start to wonder, why aren't they chasing me anymore? Did I take them for granted? What does this mean? Absence makes the heart grow fonder, but only when the heart was paying attention in the first place. Your silence is not avoidance, it's growth. It's not a wall, it's a mirror, reflecting back the balance that was missing. When you step back, you're not punishing them. You're respecting yourself. You're showing that your care is a gift, not something to be taken lightly. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. By stepping back with intention, you embody this wisdom. You're not reacting emotionally or seeking validation. You're choosing to act with purpose, grounded in your own value. They might tell themselves it's nothing, but deep down, they feel the change. They notice the way your energy is no longer centered around them. They sense your focus shifting inward toward your own growth, goals, and peace of mind. And that shift? It's powerful. Strength is quiet, confidence is calm, and growth doesn't need applause. This isn't about whether they come back or realize what they've lost. It's about you. It's about mastering your own reactions and standing firm in your worth. When you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, you send a message without saying a word. I know my value, and I won't diminish it to earn someone else's approval. They'll feel it. Whether or not they admit it, they'll notice. And in that silence, they'll begin to reflect, not just on you, but on themselves. Have you ever felt the shift that comes when you stop seeking validation and focus on your own growth? How did it change the way you saw yourself and the way others saw you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Or if this message resonated with you, simply type "Strength in Silence." Your perspective might be the inspiration someone else needs right now. So take a moment to reflect, and let's grow stronger together. 3. When they question their own actions. When you stop caring, or at least stop showing that you do, something profound begins to shift. It's not just the absence of your attention that they feel, it's the space your withdrawal creates. In that space, something powerful happens. Self-reflection. They start to question their own actions, wondering, did I take them for granted? Was I too blind to see the signs? It's as if your silence becomes a mirror, forcing them to confront their role in the dynamic. The reflection isn't always flattering, and that discomfort can be transformative. They begin to replay past interactions, dissecting moments where they might have been distant, dismissive, or even unkind. These realizations aren't something you demand. They arise naturally in the void your absence leaves behind. In the stillness of your absence, they hear the loudest truths. Your decision to step back is not about playing games or punishing them. It's about something deeper, something rooted in self-awareness and respect. By pulling away, you're not trying to force an epiphany or control their emotions. Instead, you're embracing the power of detachment, a core Stoic principle that reminds us of the strength found in letting go. Imagine a flame burning between two people. As long as both keep adding fuel, the fire rages on, growing hotter and more consuming. But the moment one person steps back, the fire begins to die down. In the silence of those fading flames, the remaining person feels the heat and starts to understand its intensity. That's what your withdrawal does. It creates a space for clarity, not just for them, but for you too. They begin to notice the absence of your energy, the void left by your care, and the value of what you brought into their life. It's in this silence that realizations surface, realizations that might have been buried under the noise of daily interactions. Sometimes, stepping back is the most powerful way to move forward. This isn't about abandoning them or acting out of spite. Quite the opposite. It's about allowing them the chance to grow, just as you're reclaiming your peace. It's about letting the dynamic breathe, creating room for both of you to reflect on what truly matters. And here's the paradox. The act of stepping away, of detaching from the need for their validation, often draws them closer. Why? Because people are naturally drawn to what they fear losing. Your absence isn't just a void, it's a statement. It says, I value myself enough to step back when things feel unbalanced. That kind of quiet confidence is magnetic. The less you need someone, the more they realize they need you. For them, this period of questioning can be uncomfortable, even painful. But discomfort often leads to growth. As they sit with their thoughts, they might come to appreciate what they once took for granted. They might begin to see the strength in your detachment and the boundaries you've set. For you, this is about more than just their reaction. It's about your own journey. A Stoic would call this inner freedom, breaking free from the need to control their perceptions or seek their approval. By letting go, you reclaim your power, your energy, and your sense of self. Have you ever noticed how silence can be more powerful than words? How stepping back can create clarity where chaos once reigned? Reflect on a time when creating space brought you or someone else a deeper understanding. Share your thoughts in the comments below, or simply affirm your belief in the power of stillness by writing, "Silence creates clarity." Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Let's inspire each other to embrace this strength and grow together. 4. When frustration breaks through. Frustration is a powerful force, and when your detachment becomes clear, it rises like steam under pressure. They may lash out with accusations, sharp words, or emotional reactions, desperately trying to regain a sense of control. While these moments can sting, take a step back and see them for what they are, a reflection of their inner struggle. This frustration is not just about your actions, it's about what your absence has exposed within them. Vulnerability is uncomfortable, and anger often becomes a shield to hide it. It's easier to blame you than to confront the deeper truth. Your absence feels like a loss they didn't anticipate. Anger is a mask for pain, and frustration is its loudest voice. Their emotions are swirling because they're wrestling with the reality of what your presence once meant. The care, the attention, the effort they took for granted. It's no longer theirs, and that shift can be unsettling. Anger feels safer than admitting regret, safer than facing the fear of losing someone they now realize had value. Think of their frustration as a storm at sea. The waves crash violently, trying to shake everything in their path. But beneath the surface, the ocean is calm, steady, and unmoved. That's where your strength lies. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Their frustration is their reaction, not your responsibility. Your role is not to absorb their anger or get drawn into their emotional storm. It's to stay grounded, composed, and unshaken. Imagine them accusing you of being distant, their voice heavy with blame. Instead of reacting with defensiveness, you choose calm. You respond with quiet understanding, saying, "I can see why you might feel that way." This isn't about dismissing their feelings. It's about protecting your peace. Silence isn't weakness. It's a fortress for the mind. Your calm response does more than keep you composed. It highlights the contrast between their emotional chaos and your steadiness. It forces them to pause, even if only for a moment, and reflect on their reaction. Over time, as the waves of their frustration subside, they begin to see the truth. The void your absence creates is unavoidable. The anger they felt wasn't about your actions. It was about the loss they hadn't prepared for. And in that realization, they may come to understand the value of what they had. This is not about manipulating their emotions or playing games. It's about standing firm in your self-respect. Your detachment is not a punishment. It's a declaration of your worth. By refusing to let their frustration dictate your response, you hold on to your inner balance and remind yourself of the strength that comes from within. True power lies not in control over others, but in control over yourself. Their frustration may sting in the moment, but it's also a sign that your absence is felt deeply. And in that absence, they might finally begin to see what they had overlooked. For you, it's a reminder that your worth doesn't depend on how others react to you. Your strength comes from knowing who you are and staying grounded no matter how turbulent the emotions around you may be. This balance, this calm in the face of their storm, is where your power lies. Stay steady, stay strong. The storm always passes, and what remains is clarity, for them and for you. 5. The calm that sparks curiosity. When you stop caring the way you once did, when you stop chasing approval, over-explaining yourself, or bending over backward to make things work, a remarkable shift begins to take place. At first, they might shrug it off, chalking it up to a fleeting mood. But soon, curiosity takes hold. They start to wonder, what's changed? Why do they seem so calm, so steady, so unbothered? This transformation doesn't come from games or manipulation. It's the result of redirecting your energy. The time you once spent overthinking, worrying, or trying to control the relationship is now invested in something far more meaningful, yourself. And that shift? It's magnetic. Curiosity is the flame that burns brightest when the answers aren't obvious. Imagine a book they thought they'd already read cover to cover. Suddenly, new pages appear, ones they didn't know existed. That's how they begin to see you. They notice the quiet confidence, the way you no longer react to their every word or action, the way you carry yourself as if you've unlocked a secret they're desperate to understand. This isn't about withholding or playing hard to get. It's about living authentically and letting your growth speak for itself. Real mystery doesn't come from pretending to be someone you're not. It's born from the genuine transformation that happens when you focus on your own path. You used to text them good morning every day, initiate every conversation, and make sure they felt your care. Now, you've pulled back, not out of anger or spite, but because you've realized something crucial. Your peace of mind doesn't depend on their responses, and that realization changes everything. He who is brave is free. Seneca. By embracing Stoicism, you've stopped letting external circumstances dictate your state of mind. Instead of reacting to every small shift in their mood, you've learned to observe, reflect, and choose your responses carefully. That calm, deliberate approach doesn't just protect your peace, it captivates them. They might think at first that you're pulling away to teach them a lesson, but over time, as they see the steadiness in your actions and the quiet strength in your demeanor, their perspective shifts. Questions start to bubble up. Did I misjudge them? Have they grown in a way I didn't expect? Why do they seem so grounded while I'm here, second-guessing everything? Stillness is not emptiness. It's the foundation of clarity. Your growth forces them to reflect. They start to notice how the dynamic has changed. Where once you seemed eager to seek their approval, now you're focused on something deeper, your own self-respect and inner stability. This isn't about teaching them a lesson or trying to win them back. It's about freeing yourself from the need for external validation and standing firm in your own worth. Picture a lake that was once disturbed by constant ripples, now calm and still. The stillness reveals a clarity that wasn't visible before. That's what your transformation does, not just for them, but for you. By letting go of the need to be understood, you allow them to see you in a completely new light. This journey isn't always easy. It takes courage to redirect your energy inward and embrace the power of self-mastery. But as you do, you'll find a strength that doesn't waver, even in uncertainty. And in that strength, you'll discover the freedom to live authentically, without the weight of needing someone else's approval. Let them wonder, let them feel the shift. And while they're trying to figure you out, stay focused on what truly matters: your growth, your peace, your values. That's where the real power lies. True strength isn't loud, it's steady. True freedom isn't given, it's earned. Keep walking your path, not for anyone else, but for yourself. That's the calm that sparks curiosity and the growth that transforms everything. 6. The shadow of regret. Missing what they had. Regret is a subtle, creeping shadow, often unnoticed until it's fully formed. When you step back, when your care and attention are no longer theirs to hold, they begin to feel the weight of your absence. It's not immediate, but it grows, filling the space you once occupied. What they dismissed as routine now feels irreplaceable. What they overlooked now stands in sharp contrast to the void left behind. Those small acts of kindness, the thoughtful gestures, the steady presence, take on new meaning in hindsight. They miss how you made them feel valued, secure, and seen. It's a bittersweet longing that forces them to confront the reality of what's been lost. Regret is the weight of realizing too late what was once held lightly. This isn't about revenge or trying to make them feel guilty. It's about the natural consequences of detachment. When you prioritize yourself, stop overextending and redirect your energy inward, the dynamic shifts. You're no longer pouring your time and effort into someone who took it for granted. Instead, you're building a life centered on your peace and purpose. Imagine a well that's always full, always ready to quench someone's thirst. If they assume it will never run dry, they may not think twice about how much they take. But when the well stops flowing, they suddenly realize the value of what they had. That's what your absence does. It reveals the gift your presence truly was. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. When you were always there, always texting, always encouraging, always showing up, they may have believed it would last forever. But when you step back, it forces them to see that your care wasn't infinite. It was a choice, a gift, and now that it's gone, its absence stings. Picture this. Once they brushed off your good morning texts, barely noticing the effort behind them. Now they wake up to silence, and that quiet feels heavier than words. The encouragement you offered without hesitation is gone, and they're left to navigate their challenges without it. These small realizations build, piece by piece, until regret settles in fully. For you, this isn't about proving a point or manipulating emotions. It's about embracing Stoic wisdom, understanding that their feelings and realizations are outside your control. What is within your control is your response, your focus, and your growth. Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Seneca. Your worth doesn't depend on their recognition. By stepping back, you're not withdrawing out of anger or resentment. You're reclaiming your energy and channeling it into building a life that reflects your principles. You're showing through your actions that love and attention are gifts, not guarantees. Their regret may grow as they realize what they lost, but your focus is no longer on whether they'll understand your value. It's on living a life that reflects the strength of someone who knows their own worth. When they finally see the clarity your absence brings, it's not because you forced it, it's because your silence spoke louder than words ever could. In your absence, they'll see what your presence truly meant. This is a lesson not just for them, but for you as well. Love and attention should never be taken for granted, by them or by yourself. When you prioritize self-respect, you step into a power that doesn't waver based on someone else's actions. The beauty of this journey is that it's not about them, it's about you. By letting go of what you can't control and embracing your own growth, you find freedom. And in that freedom, you teach an undeniable truth. True strength lies in knowing when to let go and focus on what truly matters. 7. Letting their guard down. This is the stage where the walls start to crumble. The defenses they once held so firmly begin to give way, leaving them feeling exposed and uncertain. They start to confront a reality they didn't anticipate. The connection they once shared with you is no longer so easily within reach. The emotions that surface now are raw and unfiltered. Vulnerability steps into the spotlight, and with it comes the weight of self-reflection. It's not just about missing you. It's about recognizing the gap your absence has created in their life. They replay moments in their mind, questioning their own actions and wondering what they might have done differently. In this state, they may reach out, but not always in obvious ways. It might be a casual message, a like on an old photo, or an excuse to start a conversation. These small actions speak volumes, hints of longing mixed with hesitation, a quiet attempt to feel out whether the door is still open. When the walls fall, the truth stands bare. As someone grounded in Stoic principles, this is a moment where your approach matters more than ever. Their vulnerability is not a call to rush in, fix things, or force a resolution. Instead, it's an opportunity to show patience, integrity, and strength. Stoicism reminds us that life unfolds in its own time, and attempting to control every outcome only leads to chaos. Imagine a bird that's been caged for too long. When the door opens, it doesn't fly out immediately. It hesitates, unsure of its freedom. Similarly, when they let their guard down, it's a tentative step, not a leap. Your role isn't to grab hold and pull them back. It's to give them the space to navigate their feelings naturally. Patience is not passive. It is concentrated strength. When they reach out, the temptation might be to seize the moment, to dive back into old patterns. But restraint is where your power lies. If they send a casual message like, "Hey, just thinking about you," resist the urge to overanalyze or rush to reconnect. Instead, respond with thoughtfulness and composure. "It's good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well." This kind of response strikes the perfect balance. It shows openness without overwhelming them or yourself. It communicates that while you're willing to engage, you're also not abandoning the principles that keep you grounded. Strength is silent, steady, and unshaken by the winds of emotion. Their vulnerability might make them want immediate answers, but it's not your responsibility to fill every void they feel. Their journey of self-discovery is theirs alone. Your task is to remain centered, to let your responses be guided by wisdom rather than impulse. For them, this stage is a moment of reckoning, a time to confront what they truly value and what they may have taken for granted. For you, it's a test of your ability to hold steady in the face of heightened emotions. It's not about playing games or withholding care. It's about respecting the natural ebb and flow of human connection. Imagine a river carving through stone. It doesn't force its way. It flows patiently, allowing time to shape its path. That's how this stage works. By staying patient and composed, you allow growth to happen on both sides, naturally and authentically. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the process. This moment isn't powerful because it guarantees a return to how things were. It's powerful because it represents growth. Growth for them as they face their emotions, and growth for you as you stand firm in your principles. Whether this leads to reconciliation or simply clarity, the result is the same. A deeper understanding of what truly matters. Their vulnerability isn't a weakness, and your patience isn't a delay. Together, they create the space where clarity can emerge. Whatever happens next, you've shown yourself to be someone who values strength, dignity, and the power of letting things unfold in their own time. The bittersweet truth. Coming to terms with it. There comes a point when reality sets in, a bittersweet awakening where they realize that the connection or dynamic they once shared with you may never return to what it was. Whether they choose to move on entirely or consider reaching out again, this moment of clarity becomes a turning point. It's a space where acceptance takes root, forcing them to confront what has been lost and what lies ahead. This stage is deeply tied to the Stoic principle of acceptance. The Stoics teach us that much of life lies beyond our control, and it's our response to life's circumstances that shapes our experience. Seneca wisely said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have." For them, this means facing the reality of your emotional absence and aligning their feelings with the undeniable facts. At first, this acceptance may sting. The weight of letting go is not an easy burden to bear. They may find themselves replaying moments in their mind, wondering what they could have done differently. Yet, as the fog of emotion lifts, they begin to see things more clearly. The loss they feel becomes less about regret and more about growth, a necessary shift that allows them to move forward. The truth will set you free, but first, it will break your heart. When you truly stop caring in the way you once did, you remove yourself as the source of their validation or comfort. This absence creates space for reflection, both on what was and what now is. They might begin to understand their own role in the dynamic, how they may have taken you for granted or overlooked your efforts. Or they might come to realize that the loss of your attention isn't a reflection of their worth, but rather the natural consequence of your choice to prioritize yourself. Imagine a lighthouse standing firm as the waves crash against it. The lighthouse doesn't move to comfort the ocean or calm the storm. It simply stands, shining its light, a symbol of strength and guidance. That's what your detachment does. By focusing on what you can control, your actions, your values, your inner calm, you've shown them a powerful example of quiet resilience. Epictetus said it best. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This is the essence of Stoicism, letting go of the need to control outcomes and finding peace in the present. They may now see moments of your care in a new light. Perhaps they realize how much you gave without asking for recognition. Perhaps they understand how their actions, or lack thereof, may have pushed you away. This clarity reshapes how they view the past, but more importantly, it influences how they approach the future. Acceptance, however, is not a defeat. It's a form of growth. For them, it's an opportunity to rebuild, to become stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. For you, it's a chance to stay true to yourself, grounded in the principles that guide your life. Letting go isn't giving up. It's choosing freedom over control. Whether they decide to reconnect or move forward without you, the outcome is no longer your focus. Your priority is living with purpose, embracing your values, and remaining steadfast in your self-respect. The beauty of this process is that it transforms both of you. It's a reminder that peace doesn't come from clinging to someone else. It comes from finding it within yourself. This stage isn't about what you've lost or what they've realized. It's about what you've both gained, and in that growth lies the ultimate strength.